In this lab, you need to configure a dynamic IPsec VPN. In other words, rather than using static IP addresses, your IPsec VPNs need to work with dynamic IP addresses. So that means that when you set up your IPsec VPN, you can't specify the IP address of the IPsec peer. You need to use a fully qualified domain name. And that's because the IP addresses of the two routers, customer router 1 and customer router 2, can change. So in this lab, you need to complete these tasks. You need to configure the customer routers, customer router 1 and customer router 2, with IP addresses. The routers are going to use a DHCP on their internet-facing interfaces and a static IP address on the internal interface. So both of these customer routers need to be configured with DHCP. The ISP routers are going to allocate IP addresses to the customer routers. So as an example, on ISP router 1, a DHCP pool has been configured to allocate IP addresses to the customer router. Something similar is configured on ISP router 3. So again, configure this interface on the customer routers to use DHCP and configure the internal interface to use a static IP address, as shown in the topology. You then need to create a DHCP pool on the customer routers to allocate IP addresses to the Ubuntu clients. So as an example, customer router 2 is going to allocate an IP address to Ubuntu 2 in this subnet, with this IP address as Ubuntu 2's default gateway. Now a DNS server is configured on ISP 2 with this IP address. So the routers and the clients need to use ISP router 2 as their DNS server. On ISP router 2, notice the DNS service has been enabled and it has name resolutions for various sites, including cisco.com. So ISP router 2 can ping cisco.com. Once you've completed your lab, the Ubuntu devices should be able to ping cisco.com. That means that you'll need to configure NAT on the customer routers. Notice in addition that ISP router 2 has DNS name resolutions for the customer routers. You don't have to use these DNS names, but those are example DNS names that I've configured. So once you've configured your network, the routers should be able to ping each other based on their DNS name. That's not working at the moment because the customer routers are not configured. These are also the fully qualified domain names that you need to use in your IPsec VPN. So again, you need to configure a DHCP pool on the customer routers to allocate IP addresses to the Ubuntu clients, and they need to be told to use DNS server 8.8.8.8 so that they can ping cisco.com. Once again, that means that you need to enable NAT on the customer routers, and once you've done that, you need to configure a dynamic IPsec tunnel between customer router 1 and customer router 2 so that the Ubuntu devices can ping each other using RFC 1918 addresses. So Ubuntu 1 should be able to ping Ubuntu 2, who will be allocated an IP address by customer router 2 in this subnet, and Ubuntu 2 should be able to ping Ubuntu 1, which will be allocated an IP address by customer router 1 in this subnet. So they should be able to ping each other across the IPsec VPN that's formed between customer router 1 and customer router 2 across the internet. Remember that these three routers, ISP router 1, ISP router 2, and ISP router 3, are pretending to be the internet in this topology, so they should not learn about network 10. They should only have public IP addresses in their routing tables and not RFC 1918 addresses. But traffic should traverse the IPsec VPN formed dynamically using dynamic IP addresses across the Internet. So again, make sure that the IPsec VPN is set up and that customer router 1 and customer router 2 can ping each other on their internal IP addresses, and also make sure that the Ubuntu devices can ping each other. So as a verification, make sure that the Ubuntu devices can ping each other, that they can ping cisco.com and other IP addresses on the Internet, and make sure that the VPN still works when customer router Internet addresses change. So as a test, shut down the interface of customer router 2 and then re-enable it and make sure that it gets a different IP address, update the DNS entry on ISP router 2, and make sure that the two routers can still set up an IPsec tunnel. In the real world, we would use DynDNS or some other dynamic DNS service, and we would dynamically update the DNS server with the new IP address of the router. In this case, we're simply using a Cisco router as the DNS server, so you'll need to manually update the DNS entry with the new IP address used by the routers. So there you go. Can you complete this lab? Download the attached GNS3 topology and import it by going to File, Import Portable Project. See if you can complete this lab yourself. Otherwise, watch the next video where I complete the lab.